You have entered the retro realm. You are in the Game Master's Den.
Tonight's episode, a pre-written adventure. The Portal Under the Stars by Joseph Goodman.
Hey, it's me again. I'm Tolerant X Gaming. I'm using AI voices to help me tell my stories here on YouTube. My goal is to use different voices so my solo role-playing videos aren't stale. I hope these voices don't bother anyone.
Hey everyone, I'm AI Derek. I will be playing players' voices here today. A woman's voice will be playing the Game Master. I will be playing the heroes in this daunting quest, while she plays everything else.
The Portal Under the Stars. A Level 0 to 1 DCC RPG Adventure. By Joseph Goodman. Player Introduction. For long years, you labored in the fields like all the peasants, sweating hot and dirty in the summer, only to shiver under threadbare hides when winter came. This year's harvest ended like all the rest, and autumn's work was hard on Old Man Roberts. When you visited his bedside at the end, he spoke in labored breaths of constellations that hadn't been seen since he was a young lad. The last time the empty star had risen in the sky, it was more than 50 winters past, he said. Under the light of that strange star, a portal had opened by the old stone mounds. He'd seen jewels in there and fine steel spears and enameled armor, but he'd run when the Iron Men had attacked. Now, old and dying, he wishes he'd taken the chance on a life of adventure. The empty star is once more rising, and a young person with courage could be more than just another peasant if only they'd take the chance Old Man Roberts hadn't. You're taking that chance. You stand before the monolithic rocks of the old stone mounds, under the dark light of a starry sky. The empty star is clear and bright above you. 3 of the large stone blocks lean haphazardly together to form an upright rectangular portal about the size of a person. They seem to be placed directly beneath the star's path. As the empty star ascends to its brightest point, its light catches in the portal, and a shimmering stone-lined corridor is visible through the stones, but only from one side of the opening. Grasping your pitchfork with white knuckles, you step into the starlit portal, which was not there before today. Thoughts of jewels and scorching wheat fields foremost in your mind.
Let's make sure some things are established first. I will be controlling all the player characters. For the sake of simplicity, I will be controlling each group as a token to represent them. Each group will move together, but the token is the one in the rear. Hopefully this will keep one of them alive. Group 1 is a Cooper, Elven Falconer, Orphan, and a Scribe. As you can see, the Elven Falconer is my choice to be represented by a token.
Understood. I will be using Mythic and my homebrew system to represent the chaotic nature of things. Dungeon Crawl Classics will handle the rest. There is a luck attribute on each player character and NPC in DCC. The player character who has the lowest luck is the target of any traps or misfortunes that may logically target them. You may burn your luck to improve any roll you make, but that has consequences. 4 funnels, which is what a zero-level adventure is called. We will use group initiative for each group of players. We will see how Foundry handles this, or if I know how to use Foundry to burn luck or run group initiative.
Alright, so all the peasants have entered the portal and are looking around this chamber. What do they see?
Even though the hallway is visible from only one side of the portal, you tread on solid flagstones. The starlight fades as it reaches into this hallway, which dead ends ahead at a stout iron-banded door. Jewels or crystals in an odd assortment of star shapes are inscribed on the door.
Well, the door's closed. I'll see if I can open it. Game Master, is the door locked?
Yes, players. The door is quite obviously locked. What is your next move?
Alright, so I'm searching the chamber for any clues. I rolled a 12.
The difficulty of the check was 14, but your smart cheesemaker character notices the star shapes on the door. The cheesemaker knows these star shapes approximate the nighttime sky visible through the reverse end of the hallway. The starlight gleaming, sparkling, visible through the portal down the hallway seems to creep along the flagstones as if to be slowly lining up with the doorway. I'm going to make a check right now for your lowest intelligence character and see if they even pay attention. Oh, that is unfortunate. I rolled a 1 and on my fate table, it says your halfling Dyer, who has an intelligence of 5, was not paying attention. He tried to force the lock. I guess he must be curious and dumb. A searing light burns from the star-shaped inscription. The halfling Dyer feels a searing burn across his body. Screaming, he falls backwards, barely avoiding death. He takes 2 points of damage.
Okay. Ouch, he's still alive though. I guess now I'll just have everyone wait until the stars move around. Maybe that will illuminate things a bit. Sorry about the pun.
After waiting for what feels like a couple of hours of watching the crawling starlight on the walls, you hear the door click. The clicking sound echoes through the chamber. You see the door slowly crack ajar, as if beckoning you to enter the portal under the stars.
I'm going to open the door and have my cheesemakers group enter first. Game Master, what do I see in the room when I enter?
Across from this room is another stout door. 4 iron statues flank the door, 2 to a side. Each statue depicts a different fighting man in a round iron helmet and thick-scaled armor. Each statue is holding a long spear in a throwing position. All the spear tips are aimed at the door through which you just entered. Because your luck scores on your halfling haberdasher and your wizard's apprentice are so low, I'll be attacking them both. Your dwarf and your cheesemaker will be considered not entered to the room yet. I'm going to roll 4 attack rolls now, 2 against your halfling haberdasher, and then 2 against your wizard's apprentice. I rolled enough damage to kill your halfling haberdasher. If this was a level 1 or higher game, we would do a check and roll the body. Unfortunately for you though, he's an unlucky peasant. He's dead. Even worse, I rolled a critical hit on my attack against the wizard's apprentice. The sudden attack from the spear completely disembowels the wizard's apprentice. The apprentice's intestine pinned against the wall as his body falls over dead. The gore-encrusted guts appear as grisly streamers, almost as if to celebrate your comrade's gruesome and sudden deaths.
Okay, so, now the statues are disarmed. They appear to be motionless. I'm going to check the room for traps or anything out of the ordinary.
There seem to be no traps. In fact, the spears and well-armored statues seem to be the only thing in the room. From your inspection, it appears the black enameled armor adorning the 4 statues could be removed and used.
I will first remove the armor from the statues. Then I want to equip it to each of my token characters, except the Elven Falconer. The orphan can use the armor. I will next collect the spears and loot the corpses of the recently deceased. Each of the token characters will wield a spear, except the elf, because they are made of iron. Again, the orphan will be using that equipment going forward. Alright, I think we're ready to leave this room and move on through this place. I'm going to use the Guild Beggars group to take the lead from here on out. Let's see where this leads.
This spacious chamber has marbled floors and a door on each wall. At the far end is a towering granite statue of a barbarian, one hand outstretched, index finger pointed toward you. The muscular savage wears animal hides, but his eyes are intelligent and his engraved neckline sports amulets and charms. A grimoire hangs beside a broadsword on the hip of the 30-foot-tall monument. The guild beggar notices many fine scorch marks on the marble floor, as if campfires had been started there.
I'm going to have the player characters look around the room for anything valuable.
Your search doesn't find anything valuable or unusual. Though, as you are searching, split up across the room, the statue grinding on its base begins to rotate. Swiveling on its base, with its pointing finger outstretched, it seems to menacingly track your group's movements.
Tracked. I'll try and have the party groups each walk around separate corners of the room. Does that make it stop moving?
No, it's still rotating as you move. After a few minutes, you notice something. It seems to be following the largest grouping of people.
Since it's not attacking, and I still don't trust if it is safe, or not, I'll have to ignore it for now. I know I'm going to regret this. I'm going to open a door at random and go that direction. I got a 2, so I'm deciding to take the north door and proceed to open it. The Guild Beggars group is walking through first. What do I see?
Not so fast. The statue sends forth a scorching burst of flame from its fingertip. Your corn farmer is unfortunately the last of your 4-person group to exit the room. As they are leaving the room, the statue glows with an unearthly red light. The statue then shoots flames in a stream from its fingertip. Within a few moments, your corn farmer is engulfed in flames and is reduced to a smoldering corpse. Your party quickly leaves the previous room behind you, peeling yourselves into the northern room. You observe the chamber before your group. This enormous chamber is filled with a large, rectangular pool of water running the entire length of the room. Diffused light shines upward from the pool, illuminating wide pillars lining the walls. Strangest of all, however, are the man-shaped crystal creatures visible in the shadows. They shuffle about slowly, their strange crystalline bodies sparkling like jewels whenever they catch the light from the pool. There is a door in the far corner of this chamber.
Do the creatures notice the party?
They notice you, but they seem generally uninterested. They seem to shuffle about randomly through the room.
All right, I'll walk through the room, trying not to disturb the creatures.
As you walk through the room, avoiding contact with the creatures, you walk along the edge of the glistening pool of water. The 3-foot-deep pool of water shines in your eyes as your guild beggar walks nearby. Almost as if glowing, embedded in the bottom of the 3-foot-deep pool is over 100 tiny crystals. These tiny gems gleam with refracted light and catch your eye.
Wow, what a find. I don't mind exploring this pool. My guild beggar is going to jump in the water. Are the crystal creatures following me or doing anything different now?
The creatures are currently shuffling about. They still seem completely oblivious to your party.
I'm going to start to inspect this pool and these gems embedded in the bottom. I'll roll to see what I can determine.
The crystals or gems, if you wish, are secured to the bottom of the pool. They can likely be dislodged from the surface with little to no effort. And, because you have a natural 20 on your roll, I'll tell you a bit extra. Murphy, a traveling merchant, is due to visit the village soon. He has been looking for more shiny trinkets and baubles. A dozen or so of these crystals could probably fetch you more money than a year of toiling in the fields.
Because the cheesemaker notices this, he will tell everyone, "Hey everyone, these crystals could be worth a lot of copper or even gold. Let's take them."
Using your tools, everyone gets to work prying crystals from the bottom of the pool. Each crystal takes a few minutes to pry out from the pool's bottom. As each crystal is plucked from its glimmering depths, air bubbles begin to rise. After each of you has secured a crystal, you can notice the pool is draining slowly. Each crystal must be like how a stopper works in a bathtub.
Most of the characters will continue to explore the room. The cheesemaker and the dwarven mushroom farmer pluck crystals from the pool.
You spend 10 minutes searching the room, but don't notice anything. In that time, your dwarven mushroom farmer and the cheesemaker are able to each pluck 5 more crystals from the pool. With 25 crystals taken from the pool by the group in the past 12 minutes, the pool is approximately 2 feet deep now.
To explore more of this death trap, we are going to have to keep the group together. That fire-spewing statue is south of us. Right now, there's no going back. The only way is forward. I'm going to gather the party, then we are going to the door leaving this room.
As you open the heavy, dust-covered door, you see a spiral staircase before you leading down.
The party will go down the staircase cautiously. The guild beggar group continues to be the lead. Does everyone come with us?
Yes, your entire group of peasants travels down the stairwell slowly. The spiral staircase leads to a long, narrow room with a door in the far wall. This dusty room has a dry air and clay, earthy scent about it. There are several ledges holding miniature clay soldiers. 2 clay-wrought tables are covered with the miniature armies of opposing soldiers. They are all laid out around various buildings and hills.
I'm going to search the room for anything of value or something other than these miniatures. I'll roll a check.
Yes. You manage to search the room and are successful. 4 of the clay soldiers are solid silver, They are generals, or commanders. They are clearly the leaders of the 4 armies of miniatures laid out on the 2 tables.
Alright, now I'm checking if the door is locked and for traps. I'm rolling again to see.
The door doesn't seem to be locked. There are no traps in this room. You've taken a total of 20 minutes to search this room. During that time, you could hear the constant slow flowing of water into the room on the other side of the door.
Alright, now that we've taken the silver statues, I think we're ready to open the door.
The door opens upon a breathtaking scene. An enormous, 3-tiered chamber spreads before you. An oversized throne rests upon a raised dais at the far end of the room. Seated on the throne is a clay warlord that resembles the giant statue you saw earlier. A pulsating light emanates from a crystal globe atop the throne. Below the dais at floor level 7 statues of clay generals stand motionless. Below them, in a huge pit that runs the length of the room, stands an army of clay soldiers. There are dozens of soldiers arrayed in marching formation. Their clay armor and clay spears equipped for war. The pit is currently almost half filled with mud, and the soldiers are melting into a muddy mess. A great stillness pervades the room. It is the stillness of death, the silence of a tomb. Then, suddenly, the stillness is broken as the clay warlord jerkily raises an arm toward his generals. Then, the entire army takes a lurching step forward, shattering the silence with the tramp of doom. The clay warriors in the pit are almost completely melted into mud, and thus are completely useless in combat. You still have to combat the 7 generals and the warlord statue. Roll for initiative.
Alright. First, my cheesemaker and dwarven mushroom farmer will enter the chamber, and if possible, full movement. I'm going to move then attack with my Cooper, then Orphan, then Scribe, then last Elven Falconer. On this general. If I can't reach him with one of them, the last one will remain behind. I'm going to move then attack with my Dwarven Rat Catcher. I missed by one. I'm going to burn luck to make that hit connect. Now's my time to shine. My Halfling Wanderer, Halfling Dyer, Cooper, and Hunter all split as a unit.
With the defeat of the warlord, the general statues suddenly become still. The entire army loses anima, the possessing force, thus becoming simply a set of clay statues.
Alright, we won. We still have to explore the rest of this place, but we survived. I'm going to loot my fallen comrades and search this chamber for anything. I'm not forgetting to check that glowing ball near the throne room.
While searching, you find a magically obscured door. Your fingers traces the bewitched portal. Static tendrils of electrical energies spark and fade. What was once a magical portal before you is now a mere wooden door. Though untouched by age, you know it conceals something greater.
Alright, we will open the door. Game Master or Judge, could you please describe the room as everyone enters?
At the end of the long hallway is a sparsely decorated room containing simple wooden shelves, a camp chair, and a sleeping pallet. The wooden shelves hold a bronze rod, a copper brazier, fine weapons and armor, and a brass-bound tome. In the center of the floor is a large pentacle with a perfect crystal circle at its center. Inside the circle is a stone table on which rests a wrinkled ancient body whose countenance matches the war wizard's. At the head of the table is a concave depression.
I want to loot everything in this room. Could I make a check to see if I know what to do with the concave surface in the center of the room?
Tugging on your guild beggar's pants, your halfling cleverly points out the crystal globe. They show you by grabbing the crystal globe and fitting into the concave opening. Suddenly, gazing into the crystal ball, you see an endless field of bright stars on a faint grey background. A ghostly image of the war wizard drifts in the star-strewn ether, perfectly still. Then a harsh goat-like face fills the full sphere, staring intently at you. I have waited a long time for someone to take the warlord's place, says the strange goatman in a deep voice. His astral voyage was cut short before he could rekindle the spark of his mortal coil. I am still in need of an ally on your world. Fill this copper brazier with wood from a dryad's tree and ignite it with the spark of a living fire. The blaze will reveal the location of the other half of the rulership rod. Find that for me, and you shall be rewarded. Then the globe dims to mere crystal. They say a dryad has been seen in the forests east of here.
There's 6 of us that survived. We have our next epic quest hook, but we are still trapped in the dungeon. We have to go back the way we came. And here's where it gets tricky. That statue is still active, and we have to get out. Our best chance is to go back through the room and try not to get hit by the fire. Running, taking a double move maneuver, is our only shot.
The statue is still pointed towards the door. As soon as you enter the room, the statue attacks. Your hunter burned all their luck in the previous encounter and is the target. Searing flames shoot in a jet towards your hunter. The flames immolate your hunter, and their body and equipment is currently melting. You rush, passing the burning hunter's corpse in a mad dash. As you run across the large room, the statue tracks your movement. The statue's outstretched finger is now pointing towards the south door, and you. Your guild beggar is the target of the statue's attack now. A gust of flames rushes towards your guild beggar. Once again, the statue has claimed another victim. This makes its fifth victim if I'm keeping track properly. His body and equipment covered in flames. This includes your spoils from the treasure vault.
I have no choice but to put out the flames to the best of my abilities and loot him. Someone is going to have to take one more attack for the team. I'm rolling to put out the flames.
Your group manages to put out the flames, but in the process, you somehow burn yourself. The statue swivels slightly and is poised to attack. Suddenly it just sputters, as if all its oil has been depleted. Your group arrives at the entrance. The door to enter and leave has been closed since your arrival. A warm glow begins to radiate from the crystal globe, and the door reopens before you. You rush to leave the portal under the stars with all your riches and stories to tell.